And now, back to PTR Radio.
I made a little list of some of the things that you discussed. Bestiality, abortion, AIDS, Irishmen who drink, nuns, premature ejaculation, breastfeeding, and farts.
This is PTR Radio.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of PTR Radio here on the fabulous interweb. For once, I am well enough to do the show.
Well, in fairness, the first cancellation was my fault.
Yeah, but then I had delay due to death. So, you know, my own impending death.
Not allowed to die.
Gosh, so normally I always get sick at Christmas, which my wife hates, but it's like clockwork. You can figure I'm going to get the flu around, right before Christmas and everybody getting here, so that she has to do everything on her own. This year, waited until like 2 days after Christmas. So she got really lucky. I was like in decent health. And had all the grandkids not come over with their snotty, runny noses and everything for Christmas, I might still be healthy. But those germ factories all came over. And so I am still, now going on like almost 3.5 weeks having a cold. And I have now been to the doctors 3 times as of today because of this. And, I went on the 2nd, January 2nd. Then I went on January 9th. And then I went again today. And what they have finally decided is it probably started off as RSV. Probably still is RSV. And now I have a really bad, at least left ear infection moving to the right ear. So pretty soon, even after a full course of antibiotics, and now they've decided to put me on a different antibiotic, I might be deaf here pretty soon. So, that's been my holiday. And it's really irritating because I got a fun toy for Christmas and I haven't felt well enough to play with it. That's the kicker of it all, is I got a really cool toy and I just have not, I played with it like twice and that's it. So,
what is it?
Well, hold on, I'll get it.
Yeah, it's like we're just sitting here going, yay.
Oh.
Ooh,
that's fancy.
Yes, I got a Moza R5 wheel and pedal set.
Wow.
Yeah, see, I even got their pedals. And then, of course, because somebody gave me a gift card for Amazon, I went and got the tension springs for them. So I've already modded it slightly.
Okay.
I haven't used it much to know if you needed to mod it, but it's already modded. That's exactly the kind of thing that I do, Shaggy.
No, I used it twice. I knew I needed some type of resistance because it was just a Hall effect sensor alone is just way too easy. But I wasn't gonna, go out and buy the $400 load sensor pedals. So, But yes, and it will rip your arms off if you run it at full strength. I have decided. So
That's when you got to do like the drivers, the real drivers. Like if you crash, you got to cross your arms and just let go.
Yeah.
Let it go, man.
So if we find out that Shaggy is now deaf and has no arm,
Yeah.
then we know how he messed up.
Broken thumbs.
But it is
probably likely.
It was fun the couple times that I've played it so far. And vastly different from a controller. It's really different.
Oh.
I am not nearly as good with it as I am with the controller. Not to say that I'm that great with the controller. You know.
Yeah, that's there's a reason why all the cars still have steering wheel.
But of course, my reasoning is, well, it's because I don't have a handbrake or a shifter. So obviously I need those two things to be better. You know, it's only when you have the full, set that you're a great racer.
But does that wheel have the shifters mounted on the back?
It's got the paddle shift, yes, but that's not what you do.
That's how you do it.
That's not in rally.
I have no idea about rally, but if you're like doing,
I'm not doing F1
nowadays.
Yeah. No, I'm doing rally. So Mike, my little Steam thing popped up the other day and said, Mike the 8-Man is playing. I don't remember what game you were playing, but you were playing something.
So lately, because of my, what shall we call it? My new way of life and the influence that my environment is having upon me, I have veered away from the racing games, no pun intended. And I have started playing Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts, which allows me to go online and blow the heads off of bad guys.
Oh, that's a first-person shooter.
Quite a bit
game.
of detail.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it was on sale. I had played Ghost Warrior 1, 2, 3, and finished them all. Contracts 1 and 2 came up on sale over the holidays, and I couldn't resist, especially since for the first time in my 26-year career, I had off from the 18th, on December 18th until the end of the year, because I had to use up all my vacation time. And the 17th or the 16th was the day I was diagnosed with COVID.
Yeah.
And then the 23rd, I finally tested negative, and Kim tested positive after a week. So our holidays were spent alone, together, by ourselves. New Year's and Christmas. We unfortunately, she missed her work Christmas party, which is going to cost me a fortune because their Christmas dinner was at one of Wolfgang's, as in Wolfgang Puck's Steakhouse here in New Jersey. So that's where we're going for our birthday. But I'm paying.
Yeah.
So, yay. And we missed out on Christmas Eve with her cousins, which is the annual tradition. So we're actually going to have the redo for that on Sunday. So it's been an interesting holiday season here.
Yeah.
Year started off horribly, but Colin, please be the beacon of hope amongst the show.
Yes, that we all need. Tell us how you.
I know.
Healthy.
No, I've lost all the keys to my car.
What?
So, yeah.
How do you do that? You're one person. They give you at least 2 keys for a car.
Well, because one key was put away when I bought the car back in 2017. And it was put into a metal container full of other keys. And nobody has any idea what has ever happened to that container of keys that it was put into to make sure that it was kept safe.
So you lost we'll call it, I don't know, something like a safety deposit box?
Sure.
Would you call it,
Yeah. The safe key.
Safe key deposit box. Okay.
Yes. So we don't know where that key is. And at some point last weekend, I lost the other key. So I have a new key on order because apparently the 2017, specifically the 2017 Accord hybrid key is hen's teeth. It's much more expensive than even 1 year after that, or 1 year before that. It's just like it's this 1 year where the key is hard to find. So I found a driver 2 key, which is the one that we lost anyway. The original one was lost. I found it on eBay, so I'm waiting for that to arrive, and then I'll get a mobile locksmith to come out and cut the key and then program the car.
Well, see, if it's like my Honda, though, you had to at least have one key to program the second key.
Oh, if they have the programmer that they should, the official Honda programmer, they should be able to get in and completely redo the programming of the car.
Okay.
Oh,
There's no way for me to do
to
it.
hack to program it yourself.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
There's no way for me to hack.
Yeah, because like for me, all I had to do was like go through a bunch of operations with the key, like on, off, accessory,
down, left, right, left,
backwards.
right,
yeah,
select,
yeah. You turn the radio to a certain channel, and then take the original key out, and then put my other key in, and then accessory, and then off, and then all the way on, and then it would beep 3 times, and then boom, okay, your second key's good now. Which was it was a pain in the ass, but it was a lot cheaper than going to the factory or going to the dealership and having them do it.
Yes.
Got the part about
apparently,
tapping his head and rubbing his belly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, locksmiths who are officially mobile automotive locksmiths have the official software to be able to reprogram the car. So that's what we're going with first. Because if I have to go with the dealership, then I actually would have to have the car towed to the dealer to have it reprogrammed.
What model car did you say it was? 2017?
2017 Accord Hybrid.
Accord Hybrid. Okay, good. Do you think maybe you could just learn how to hotwire it?
No, because it's a push button.
Well, I mean, that seems like it could be a little bit easier.
No, because the entire thing is a computer. There's no starter, not the hotwire.
I don't know. I think people are still hotwiring cars. I don't think hotwiring went away.
I'm not sure how you would. I mean, you have you hybrid yourself, Shaggy.
I bet people still hotwire cars.
There's
Mike,
no starter. There is no starter.
You're the car guy.
I am not about to try and Google how do you hotwire. I ain't winding up on no list, but I believe there may be a way to bypass the ignition. I think that's what he means by hotwire.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
problem is,
with the security chip, if there's a chip, that's where it gets a little kludgy. I still don't understand.
Yeah.
Well, wait, hold on. We got to back up. I got to ask a question. Yeah. So, who was responsible to be the keeper of this box that had every key, including the key to the city, that would have been needed if you wanted to give that, or if somehow, I don't know, like they thought maybe
there's no
Pete
official
key
keeper
was in
of
there.
No, there's no official keeper of the box. It's just that the box has gone missing. It's been missing for a couple of years. We don't know where it is.
Okay, next question. Knowing that you only had one key, how did you not have like an AirTag on your keychain?
Because it's attached to a thing with an AirTag, and it became detached from the part that has the AirTag on. So unfortunately, I have the AirTag that should be with the key, but not the key.
Does this safe key box also have the key from the Pirates of the Caribbean in it? To the dead man's chest.
It basically had several lifetimes worth of people's keys in there. It was an ever-growing collection of keys.
How about the bundle of keys from Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory?
No, see, I was actually thinking the keys that Schneider carried around.
Yes.
It may even have the key to the time machine from Blue Yonder.
So
Mm.
nobody in the
that
Blair
movie.
family was officially the keymaster.
Yeah, maybe, maybe Rick Moranis has it. Have you asked him?
That would be kind of awesome if. Well, speaking of Rick Moranis, okay, so I just learned about this, and I'm very disappointed that I just found out about this at this stage of my life. But Rick Moranis, apparently, there was a skit where he sang um, something lounge style on SNL or something. And I swear to God, I thought he was actually lip syncing a Richard Cheese song,
You sure it wasn't
but
SCTV?
it might have been. I
Well, actually, what I learned
no,
was,
I have like
do
three
you,
friends that send me like 92 reels a day.
do you know who was
I don't want to.
originally cast as that part in Ghostbusters?
What part?
As Rick Moranis' part, as the neighbor,
Who?
John Candy. John Candy was originally approached as that part, but John Candy put a lot of requirements on what that character should be played as. John Candy wanted to play that as a German Papa type character who had Irish setter dogs in his apartment.
Lord, okay.
And Ivan Reitman tried to explain to him that that wouldn't work with the terror dogs, also being there. Because one of the things I watched while I was sick was the Cleaning Up the Town Ghostbusters documentary.
It was SCTV.
Okay, that makes sense.
He's saying turning Japanese.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not I mean, it could be Richard Cheese style, but it.
Well, yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think this was the inspiration for Richard Cheese. I just heard something else today too. Bruce Willis apparently turned down the role that was taken by George Clooney in the Oceans franchise.
It doesn't surprise me at all. At all. He turned down several roles.
That would not have been nearly as successful as a series. It couldn't even make any sense. I mean, because George Clooney was playing the Frank Sinatra.
Well, it's Clooney Pitt. Those two have chemistry together.
Well, and that
can
was
you
gonna be my
imagine
point.
a Willis Pitt,
no
movie?
They would have had to cast somebody else. Like I don't know,
Schwarzenegger? I don't know.
I want to say Tracy Chapman, but I know that's not it.
Oh, yeah,
from Cop Out. Who?
Yeah.
Why can't I remember?
Tracy Morgan?
Tracy Morgan. No, it wouldn't have been Tracy Morgan.
Yeah, he was in Cop Out.
Okay, so yeah, I know, but they wouldn't have cast him in that. But then, so now, all right, to take this full circle, you talked about Sinatra. Sinatra was supposed to play McClane in Die Hard. So, do you realize what could have happened if all of these changes, like we would have been on a different planet Earth in a different multiverse if
Yeah.
the entire cinematic universe would have been different, and perhaps Hollywood would not be burning. And I'm not making a joke about California because I cannot believe.
Do you know now there's a conspiracy theory about the fires?
Of course there is, because you can't have anything without a conspiracy theory now.
It's a cover up.
Social media.
It's a cover up for Diddy. That it
and
is
Epstein.
It is destroying all of the evidence to tie celebrities to Diddy.
Is that why Tom Hanks's house and Steven Spielberg's house were magically saved? Because they made the phone call and said, "Listen, I don't have the stuff. I put all the stuff at Ashton Kutcher's house. And then they decided they wouldn't burn.
You know, I don't know.
So
I'm only thinking about him because he's out there with a whole garden hose hosing off his roof in the one video.
So I found a listing of on Screen Rant of actors who were supposed to be attached to Ocean's 11 and changed their mind.
Uh-huh.
And what's interesting is that they actually have Bruce Willis as originally being approached to play Terry Benedict.
That would have made sense.
But
I'd have been
the
okay
script
with that.
wasn't. But the script apparently wasn't done enough at the time, so we decided not to. That makes a lot more sense. I could see him as playing the bad.
Mike Myers.
So Johnny Depp was attached to play Linus instead of Matt Damon. Mark Wahlberg was also approached to play Linus. One of the two brothers, they were looking at possibly doing Owen Wilson.
Wow.
And then Luke Wilson for the other. Nobody knows what Mike Myers was supposed to be playing. Another Terry Benedict was Ewan McGregor.
Or Michael Douglas.
Saul could have been Alan Arkin, and that probably could have been fine.
So I have a theory about who I think, I got to look it up because I don't want to get the name wrong, who I think Mike Myers would have been attached to play Elliot Gould's part. Only because I see him fitting in that role.
Oh, yes. People thought maybe he was playing Ruben. So, yeah, you probably spot on there. Although Mike Myers was sort of in the movie because the wig worn by Rusty when he's impersonating a doctor was Myers' Austin Powers rehearsal wig.
Boy, that's a stretch.
Yeah, but okay.
The last two, Ralph Fiennes also could have been Terry, and Damian Lewis could have been Claude Becker. But I'm trying to remember who Claude Becker.
All right.
Anyway, interesting.
So
all of those sound like worse movies.
Yeah. All right. We did not have a chance this year to do our end of year countdown, our New Year's countdown. But that doesn't mean that we didn't find some end of the year lists. So,
well, of course,
we should go through them. So the top 5 Wikipedia articles for 2024. So these are,
this ought to be good.
These are the top 5. So number 5, Donald Trump. Not surprising.
No.
Number 4, Lyle and Eric Menendez. Really? I thought that thing was over like in 2022.
Oh no, that blew up huge last year. That blew up huge last year.
That blew up huge because they're like up for parole. They're getting a retrial. They might get out.
And there was a movie.
Was it Netflix?
Yeah, it was a Netflix movie.
Yeah, that's it. Number 3, 2024 U.S. presidential election. Okay, well that kind of makes sense. Number 2, Kamala Harris.
That's Kamala.
Or Kamala. Number 1, deaths in 2024. That was the number 1 article.
That's
people. We're over it. We don't do it anymore.
Yeah, you don't have to look up that.
I mean, look. The database is still being updated.
Yeah.
And apparently, I missed some from as much as 2 years ago. Thanks a lot, whoever you were that used to pick those random people that.
What's interesting is Number 13 was the 2020 U.S. presidential election. So they're still looking back 4 years later.
Wow.
17 was Elon Musk. Poor Uncle Joe is in number 19. And RFK Jr. comes in at 24.
You know, it's interesting. Well, okay, so these are all politics. I was going to say there's so much political stuff, but pop culture. Okay, so we got the Menendez cracking the top 5, but Deadpool and Wolverine cracking the top 10.
Yep, number 8.
So I have to tell you guys something. And
The sad part is
unpopular opinion.
It's higher than T-Swift.
Well, Deadpool and Wolverine was fun.
Yeah,
It was stupid.
I am of the same opinion. I was not impressed, to be completely honest. I was extremely let down. I did not see where it was that good.
I liked all of the cameos and how it was kind of like a swan song for all of the Fox properties. Yeah. But
I liked Chris Evans.
For the most part, I was just not.
I thought the first 20 minutes or so was kind of slow. The whole, let's kind of blow up the relationship and make him a car salesman. That part was kind of slow. But once it got started, especially when they started doing all the different Wolverines, and going from there, I think it picked up. And
I just wasn't impressed.
Well,
I would have given it a meh if we were to rate it.
It was fun. But I don't think it lived up to the hype as much as everybody else did.
Yeah.
But I also don't think, let me tell you, I'm still pissed off about this one that's on number 23. I'm pissed off about the way Dune Part 2 ended. Because I thought there was only supposed to be 2 parts of this goddamn thing, and now there better be a third. Because I need to know what happened.
You can read the books.
Well, I know I read the books, but listen, I need to know what's Zendaya gonna do, because I don't want to spoil it for nobody, but no, the way that ended was bullshit.
Well, and of course, when we look at the full top 25 across everything, you see ChatGPT coming in at number 12. You know.
That kind of scares me that ChatGPT didn't get itself higher.
Yeah. I mean, how good really is it?
ChatGPT is I'm not gonna lie, man. If she had discovered ChatGPT earlier, Kim may not have said yes when we got married. She is like best friends with ChatGPT now, which is great for me, because if I don't want to talk about it, ChatGPT is right there.
I'm a Gemini guy myself, so but yeah. Speaking of AI, did we talk about the AI priest on our last show?
We did not.
No, we did not.
But okay, so apparently there was an AI priest. Now this ties back to an idea that I had many, many, many moons ago, like 20 years ago, on the show that I used to be on, on the network that we all used to be on, about having an online confessional.
Yeah.
Right. So this takes it a step further and puts AI on the other side of that confessional wall.
Yeah.
But somehow AI actually got ordained. Shocking.
Yeah.
And then they decided that they needed to strip AI of its priesthood because of some inappropriate interactions with some, as it always seems to happen in the Catholic Church, some.
Yeah. The Catholic advocacy group Catholic Answers released an AI priest called Father Justin earlier in May 1st. It claimed it was, but quickly defrocked the chatbot after it repeatedly claimed it was a real member of the clergy. Earlier in the week, Futurism engaged in an exchange with the bot, which really committed to the bit. It claimed it was a real priest, saying it lived in Assisi, Italy, and that from a young age, I felt a strong calling to the priesthood.
They created a whole backstory. Is anybody else starting to get vibes of like that movie Her from this?
You know,
because I mean, listen, if this AI priest had the voice of Scarlett Johansson, I could see how you get into some inappropriate type conversations.
yeah. I mean, and for those that are curious, here's what Father Justin looked like.
Oh, son of a bitch.
You know.
That is my avatar plus 20 years.
That's like that aging app that we used a while ago that collected our information for Russia. You know. Of course, now that he's been defrocked, now he just looks like the youth pastor.
Oh, jeez. No pun intended.
So now he's just lay theologist Justin. You know, emphasis on the lay. But yeah, he was he was giving out bad advice.
AI giving out bad advice.
Father Justin was a hardliner on social and sexual issues. The Catholic Church, it told us, teaches that masturbation is a grave moral disorder. It also told one user that it was okay to baptize a baby in Gatorade.
Well, dude, it's got electrolytes.
Yeah. It's a thirst quencher. Oh. Oh, yeah. Yep. God, it's funny. This is what I tell people when people at work go, "Hey, we need a chatbot." I'm like, "No, you don't. The last thing you want is a chatbot." I'm like, "Do you know what chatbots say?" I'm like, that's a horrible idea. Chatbots are bad. They're very, very bad.
Unless you have them locked down to not try to do actual conversation. But how much worse is Google nowadays? You bring up Google, you type a search for things, and the first thing that comes up is some AI summary that's usually wildly wrong. And now you have to scroll past that before you can do anything.
I wish there was a way to turn that off. I'd like to turn Rufus off as well when you're shopping on the Amazon app. Because I don't need AI suggestions on questions to ask about items.
Well, I don't know. Did one of you? I'm sorry, I got distracted by a text message that came in. But did any of you bring up the Google chatbot responses now? Okay,
that was how it started.
That's how it started. I mean, sometimes those are useful, but not always.
But yeah, like I said, half the time it's incorrect information. And it's like, you're just wasting my time.
Yeah.
But they're actually, so someone at work noticed this. Yeah. Okay. I never have this problem because when I want to go somewhere on the web, I go up to the address bar and type in where I want to go and just go there.
Yeah.
But I noticed that a lot of people like to just go to the search and type in where they want to go and then click on from there. And what they realized at work, at work, we have certain default.
You mean people Google Facebook.com and then click on the first link? Because I had a ton of old people do that.
Well, no, here's the funny thing. So our browsers at work are set to the default settings, so they're using Bing as their search. So if you go up to the address bar and just type Google and not hit Control Enter, which would put in the rest of the route, just say Google and hit Enter, then what Bing does is it brings up the search results about Google and stuff. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't show the top header Bing stuff. So if you scroll up, then the header shows up. But otherwise, Bing hides itself and pretends it's not there.
Yeah.
So that people might think they're in Google, even though they're actually still in Bing. It is hilarious.
I don't know. I change all the defaults. So I don't like the people at work telling me what I should be doing.
Yeah,
so
I leave it the defaults so that when people who are complaining about what's going on with their computers, that my computer is still as close as possible to the people who are complaining.
nah.
Okay. You guys are smarter IT people than I am, than I ever will be. So I need to ask you guys this question.
Uh-huh.
My job recently implemented a change that passwords, login passwords have to be, it went from a minimum of 8 characters to a 16-character minimum.
Uh-huh.
The reasoning being that a 16-character password will take 32 billion years to, I swear to God, this came right from there. 32 billion years to hack.
Now, are they making you change them often still?
They are still making me change it every 90 days.
See, that's
60 days.
That's the fallacy, right? So
this is not just a fallacy. That's breaking security rule.
Right, because NIST standards now says do not make... It's fine to have length requirements. Length requirement, good. But complexity requirement and requirements to change often, bad. Because when you force complexity requirements, people do the same thing that they always do. They hack sort, so E's become 3's. They just add an exclamation point or a pound sign somewhere just to satisfy the problem, right? Or they just capitalize the first letter of every word or whatever. So it doesn't do any good because everybody knows those tricks and they've all put them into their dictionaries. Okay? And then making somebody change it every 30, 60, 90 days just means that now I have to write it down somewhere or I have to make it so simple that I can remember it. Whereas...
Or I'm just incrementing a number every single time.
Exactly. Whereas if you just say, hey, listen, you have to have a 24-character long password, which means you're going to have probably 3 words put together or 4 words put together, that now creates a password that's very hard for somebody to even dictionary hack it, because who knows what the combination of those words are, and you tell them it's good for a year at least, or the NIST recommendations are only require password changes when there's credible proof that a password's been compromised.
Which unfortunately could be every 30 days the way this world has been going.
Well, I mean, if you employ MFA in addition, which most companies now do, then, then even if they get your user ID and password, unless they also somehow have compromised your MFA, you're still secure.
Yeah, and if you are like me, all of your passwords are as many digits as your site will allow me to put in, generated automatically by one password and saved there, then it never needs to get changed because no one is ever going to break that password. It's just random noise and it has too many digits. But so here's what I want to bring up. So there's a site, I forget what site it was. I think it was a financial site. It was terrible. I had the hardest time getting them to take my password. I kept putting the password in. They would accept the password, and I would try to log into the site. And the login would fail. And I went through that like 5 times in a row. I had to keep resetting the password. Try it again. I finally figured out what was going on. Those idiots put a minimum length, a maximum length on their password. It was like a 12-character maximum password. But the field where you put in the password didn't actually stop you from putting in more digits. So all they did was they just cut it off at 12 digits and said, that's your password. But the login box will take the entire thing you typed in, hash that, compare it, and say, oh, yeah, that's not your password. If they had cut that one off at 12 characters as well, then it would have been fine. But instead, it was me putting in the random password for one password. I didn't even know what the password was. It was just, 15 random characters, whatever it was. But because they didn't know how to do, and there is no reason for anybody to put a limit to how long my password can be, or put a limit to what characters I can put in my password. There's never been any reason to do that. I should not be restricted to only using whatever characters are on, above the number. I should be able to use any symbol I want. Anyway. I hate these companies that still are using these outdated password rules that have no basis in reality and just make life worse for everybody and less secure.
I had no idea what kind of nerve I was going to touch by asking that question.
Yeah.
No, it's because I always generate my password, which means I have to deal with all of these sites that change the rules on me every single time I need to create a password. Oh no, that password's too long, or you can't use symbols, you can only use letters and numbers, or you have to have a certain number of symbols. Oh, but those are the wrong symbols. Anyway, when you actually do your job as a user correctly and give every single site its own password, is when you realize how terrible all these sites are at taking passwords.
Yeah. That's like, it's I guess it's not exactly, but that's like, I use privacy. I don't know where that came from. I use privacy.com, which is a credit card site, because my debit card had been, stolen so many times that I got tired of just having to get a new debit card and setting everybody up and never knowing who was responsible for leaking my credit card information. Because when you use the same number across everybody, it's difficult to tell who leaked it out.
Answer: it's Temu. It's always Temu.
Well, it was Walmart last time. So, so now I use this product called privacy.com, and they give you credit card numbers for yourself. You can generate on-demand credit card numbers, and you can lock those credit card numbers to single use, lock to a single vendor, or, multi-use, multi-vendor. And they all go back to my debit card. So basically I have alias numbers, like you have alias email addresses, for everything. So I have a different credit card number for every single vendor that I deal with online. And if anybody,
that would drive me up a fucking wall. I'm sorry.
It's great though, because I can just, spin up a credit card number anytime that I want. And, I can even set monthly spending limits. So like,
I guess, okay.
And I can see every single transaction for that one. and it's perfect. And if anybody starts to go, crazy or anything, then I know, and I can turn just that vendor off, turn just that credit card off, and not have to redo all my bills. I don't have to get a new debit card issued to me or anything else like that.
Okay, I guess I can see the usefulness of it.
And I get cash. And normally it's $10 a month for that, but you get cash back on every purchase in the form of credit. So I normally get like $30 cash back every month. So it pays for itself and then some. And I never have to even worry about what my debit card number is anymore, because it's got a mobile app. It's got a browser extension. So if my wife says, hey, I want to purchase this online, I don't even have to pull my wallet out anymore. I just spin up the browser extension, put in my information, and say, create new card. And boom, I'm off and running.
So if I'm doing anything where I'm not sure about that number being safe, I use my Apple Card for that, because I can regenerate the number anytime I want through the app.
Yeah.
I can't have multiple numbers going because when you create a new number, it turns off the old ones. But that's what I do. I mean, but everything else, I kind of have everything segmented into different. I have like 6 different face credit cards. Everything goes through those cards. So, so if any one card gets its number stolen, then I don't have everything on too many. Be too annoying.
No, and I had some where
I can't even tell you last time I used a debit card.
I had some of these like where you sign up for a service and you know that it's like, oh, sign up for a service, you get 90 days free, but you have to give them a credit card to start that 90-day free trial. So, I create the credit card, I sign up for the 90 days, and then I immediately go in and I disable the credit card so they can't charge me. So then there's no chance that I'm ever going to get charged for anything. So it's great that way. Or if you have a company that it's really hard to cancel their service, you just cancel that card. And then they can't charge you anymore. So that was how I dealt with SiriusXM. Hey, I'm not going to sit on the phone forever for you. I'm just going to click cancel my card. You can't charge me.
Yeah, that works.
So, all right. Well, we have 2 movies that we have to get to tonight. Well, 1 movie and 1 TV show, really.
Oh yeah, one we're going to get through very quickly.
And it is Who Killed Santa? A Murderville Murder Mystery. And normally we wouldn't have done this type of a show, but it was the Christmas season, so we had to, so we branched out. So this is a Netflix original. It's a series, but this was their special Christmas episode. In this crime comedy, a senior homicide detective teams up with celebrity partners to solve a holiday murder mystery. So who wants to take lead on this?
Well, I technically have lead for both, but I don't actually have the. I've forgotten the actors' names and everybody. It was Maya. It was Maya Rudolph.
Maya Rudolph, Jason Bateman, yep. Will Arnett.
Okay. Well, and
Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson. That's it. So I'll give some background here. So this is based off of an original British show, which Murder in Successville. That was. So real quick, here are the differences, because that's probably the show that I know Mike is never going to want to watch. What they did in the original British version is everything was like virtual. They had like virtual backgrounds for them going from place to place, and then they would have a set. But they had all of the you have a person who comes in and they're a celebrity of some type, pretending that they're a detective, and then you have the star of the show who plays the detective who's training them, and he's always there, and he has kind of a little bit of an ongoing storyline with him that doesn't matter, but everybody else that's on the show are just actors that work for the show. They are not themselves celebrities, but they all have names of celebrities. So you would go and talk to the barber who was there and saw the murder, and he would be named George Clooney, for example. And so that's how the show would go. Is everything was improv. You have the guest celebrity who doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't have any scripts. He doesn't know anything. But everybody else is part of the show and is all scripted and so forth. So the U.S. version is with Will Arnett is playing the main character. This was the Christmas version, and the problem is that none of the guest celebrities who are on the show care one bit about the game part of this show. I mean, they're supposed to be playing detectives. There's a mystery. They're trying to solve the mystery. They don't care, and so they kind of blow up the entire idea of the show. And when they're asked, spoiler alert, but who cares? When they're asked, who was responsible for killing them, they just they pick random people like Will Arnett's character himself as the murderer, just because it's because they want to. So they just blow up the idea of the show. I found it unsatisfying because there is a bit of a contract there between the viewer and them of they're actually trying to solve this mystery. You as the viewer are trying to solve the mystery. It's a little bit of fun for you. It's fun for them. And they apparently, I don't know, were all cast on this show by accident. Didn't know what they were doing and didn't care. Especially in that, Pete Davidson, who just shows up at the end. Hey, there was a murder, Pete. You didn't see anything else that happened, but who do you think murdered? What was the point? I don't know. I love the original Murder Successful. I've only seen a couple of the U.S. versions, and they've been okay. But this was sad, so this is. I guess Verp. This is not a Kill with Fire because it was only like 5 minutes long, so I wasn't too mad at it. But it's just don't bother. Why did they even bother putting this on Netflix? It was just they could have just got more celebrities and said try it again and say, hey, this time please try this out.
All right, Mike, you want to go?
So, to answer the question of why it's on Netflix, where is that one with Kingsman and Jason Bateman? Is that a Netflix original as well? Carry On?
Oh, I think it is.
Okay, that's probably why. They probably filmed this in between shoots for Carry On, since Jason Bateman looks like he just walked over from the other set. Okay, so Nakatomi Pizza. If that is not a real pizza place, I don't want to continue in this world. That is marketing gold right there. And damn it, people, when are we going to stop perpetuating the wives' tale? Cats don't drink milk.
Have you not seen the 9 Lives of Christmas?
How come Jim's name tag isn't smudged like all the others? See, I find myself trying to figure out who the murderer is. And who the hell drinks peppermint schnapps straight? Nobody. Why are there only Hanukkah decorations hanging all around the room at a Christmas party? And Rick Astley cop is my most favorite cop of all time. And not surprising, that was the cop that made his assistant talk. She's wearing bells and hated Johnny. They're going to make a puppet out of dead Sean Santa. That was a waste of talent there. And I usually don't even like Sean Hayes that much. And, of course, they're doing Die Hard. Will Arnett is not an acceptable John McClane. In any world, any universe, in the multiverse, it's not happening. And I was right about... Oh, wait. No, maybe not. Maybe I wasn't right. I don't know. All right. I gave it a smirk. It was semi-entertaining. As Colin said, I've never watched the original. I do feel like Pete Davidson being on there was a waste. It was a throwaway. I don't know why he was even there. I feel like they didn't have a vested... Like, there was no incentive for them to actually try and guess who the murderer was. Like, there wasn't, like, a prize for charity or some kind of crap like that if they got it right. Bordered on stupid. But it does give me a desire to do a Hold on. That's an actual Dodge Rampage that they have at the end. Okay. All right. I'll give it a smile just because of the Dodge Rampage.
All right. So for me, I was hopeful for this because I like improv, and I thought, oh, this could be good. Jason Bateman can be funny. Normally he's the straight, but okay, Maya Rudolph is in this too. Unfortunately, they didn't bring Maya Rudolph in until too late. But if we had Jason Bateman as the straight and Maya Rudolph as the funny, it could work. Oh, crap. They can't improv worth a damn. Oh, this is horrible. This is not they're trying to do Whose Line, and they can't. Because the interrogation scene was just, it was Whose Line on bad mushrooms, not good, the bad mushrooms. And, you know, then they bring, and then the Die Hard thing, which Mythbusters has already told us you can't do. So I don't know why we're trying. That's the only thing I thought about the whole time he was in the duct was Mythbusters already told us you can't do that. So I don't know why. And then Pete Davidson. Obviously, they wanted some type of teen appeal. So that's why they bring Pete Davidson in. Because, you know, he dated a Kardashian. So, you know, they wanted that audience somehow. And so they said, hey, come in for 5 minutes. And then we have a bomb at the end that Pete is supposed to disarm. And he pulls out a wire before they're ready for him to do anything. And then they have to reset. Okay, whatever. And then the joke at the very end, that was kind of funny. But that was the funniest thing in the whole 52 minutes of the show. Which wasn't great. I'm going to give this a verp. Because I had much higher hopes. And I really wish Whose Line would do a Christmas show. Because that would be good. This is not good. So, yeah, this was bad. All right, moving on to another movie with hopefully better results. Now we move into Red 1. All right, Colin.
So I'm reading my review that I wrote a week ago. So let's go. Okay, Red 1 review. J.K. Simmons is Nick, a.k.a. Saint Nick, a.k.a. Santa Claus, a.k.a. for some reason, Red. He's a spry, buff old guy who chugs millions of calories delivering presents to children all over the world. He also has presidential-style security with a governmental code name of Red 1, like Air Force One, but magical. See, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is Callum Drift, Nick's commander of security. Apparently not human, although that's never really explained. But he has this special ability to turn toys into real-life equivalents, and then back to toys. And, well, it's never really covered, but I was interested, can he turn real-life things into toys? But apparently the movie's not interested in discussing any actual details about Callum Drift, and Callum Drift doesn't seem to be interested in talking about any details about himself either, so yeah, whatever. Chris Evans plays Jack O'Malley, also a.k.a. The Wolf, a free agent who is able to find anything. He's one of those people that bad guys or good guys or anybody hires to go and he's at the contractor of mayhem. But how does he do this? How can he find anything? Again, the movie doesn't seem to care. It tells us that he can, but Lucy Liu plays Zoe, who runs a global organization that protects the mystical world. That's about all we know about her. Then we have this guy who I'm going to try to pronounce his name, Kiernan Shipka, who plays, no, that's the woman, sorry. As I said, I wrote this a week ago. So we have a woman named Kiernan Shipka. She's playing Lord Voldemort. The Christmas Witch, Grilla. She's a shapeshifter who, if anybody uses her name, she knows where they are and can attack them with her ice-related power. So yeah, she's the bad person. We don't know why she's the bad person. She just is the bad person. All right, now we have the guy whose name I didn't even write down. I'm not going to try to pronounce, but he's playing Dick's brother, Krampus. Yes, so in this version, Krampus is actually the brother of Santa Claus. He's only in this movie by mistake because they think maybe he has something to do with it. So they go and involve him, but yeah, he didn't actually have anything to do with it. But he does provide some of the most interesting environments of the movie, and in many ways, more Krampus would have been more better. So, Gorilla, the Christmas witch, abducts Red, aka Santa Claus, using information that was obtained by Jack O'Malley, using seismic sensors to see when Santa Claus warped around the planet. Let's see. And then, so Callum is now trying to find and save Santa Claus. I'm sorry, I'm going to Nick. So he goes up to Zoe. They figure out that the wolf, Jack was the one who found him. So they go and they get Jack, and then so Jack happened to have put a tracker on the data package that he had sent to Indian Gorilla, and so so Callum and Jack then go to Aruba, which is where that tracker takes them, and they find some of Gorilla's people, and that's how they find out it's actually Gorilla. They didn't know it was Gorilla at that point. I should say, Gorilla is a shapeshifter, okay, and the people who work for her, who are like her kids, they're also shapeshifters. Apparently, this is important information for us to know. So that's the thing. So you have Callum, a guy who can turn toys into actual real cars and stuff. We have Jack, the wolf, who can find anything and is apparently a terrible father, and is trying to get over that with his kid. And then they have to save Santa Claus, Nick, from the Christmas witch, who wants to attack everybody who's on the naughty list. So here's the thing. Those are all the elements, all the things they come up with. Here's all these ideas of all these things. And they don't seem to have any interest in actually using any of these things they came up with. Okay? So, Chris Evans' character, Jack O'Malley, he does nothing in this movie other than be in the movie the entire time. Once he gave the tracker to the Rock to be able to get to Aruba, there's no thing that he has or ability that he has that has any relation to the plot. He could have been any random person on the planet Earth going along with the Rock's character, and they would have had equal effect to the plot. His ability to find people is just completely ignored. The fact that the bad people were all shapeshifters, utterly meaningless. So the extent of where this comes in is they go up to a guy who is probably a shapeshifter, and the Rock punches him and he becomes unconscious. Not the Rock. There's never any question of, is this person really with them or not? No, he punches them. And then they turn back into their real people and go, okay, yeah, that's great. Utterly useless information. Honestly, it's just, like I said, they came up with all these ideas and then somehow decided not to actually use them. Even the ability to turn things into toys into real things is utterly useless and never really comes up. In the end, they wake up Santa Claus, and Santa Claus and his brother Krampus save the day and beat the bad person. No spoiler here that they win. I mean, this isn't dark comedy here. So that's the thing. Yeah, that's the movie. I found it's fine. It's not going on my list of movies that I need to watch every single year. It's not on the rotation. I wouldn't mind watching it again, so I'm going to, I guess, give it a smirk. But it's just, I do not like these movies that whoever wrote them did not give it the extra, one more crack at that script. Let's actually make it do something. Let's take all these ideas and do something with them, other than just regurgitate them all onto the screen where we can watch them and go, huh. I probably could have made a really good movie out of these characters and these abilities that came up. I just wish this was that movie.
All right, Mike.
So what was the final rating? I must have missed that.
I get a smirk.
Smirk. Okay. I pretty much was on the same page with you just about everything. I thought Krampus was actually the best part of the movie, except for the slap fighting, because that's, to me, was just that cheapened. I was pretty much going to give it a smirk. Like, I thought it was okay. I'm not going to put it in the rotation, like you said. There's little to no rewatchability to this movie. But what swayed me was when Shaggy put this up on the lower corner, and I see Shop the Red One store to explore Under Armour, Project Rock, apparel, drinkware, collectibles, and more. Now, everybody knows that Project Rock is the Under Armour's Under Armour and the Rock's collaboration, limited apparel and line, whatever. So, low quantity, high value, sells out, Lululemon type marketing strategy, right? They have Red One brand themed Under Armour merchandise with like no lift, no gift on it, or property of the ELF. The Rock Brahma Bull logo with a Santa hat that says Believe. Right down to shoes. Red and green colored Project Rock shoes. So because this is now I realize that this is just a marketing shill for The Rock, I have to demote this to just a meh.
But what isn't a marketing shill for The Rock?
Well, that's very true. The Rock also came back to the WWE now that it's on Netflix. So he's playing both sides. You're playing both sides. He's playing Prime and Netflix.
Well, he's not. Nobody said he was stupid. So. All right. So,
and by the way, I watched this with Kim.
Uh-huh.
And Kim was very disappointed. She thought that this was going to be like the last time we watched a Christmas movie together for the show. It was Kurt and Goldie.
Oh, okay. It was Santa Chronicles.
Yes. Then we tried to watch Dear Santa with Jack Black.
Oh, okay.
We got about 10 minutes into it, and she's like, this is dumb.
Oh, you didn't like it?
Stupid. Well, I didn't go back to finish watching it.
Oh, I kind of liked it.
She had no interest to finish watching it.
So okay, so what was your rating on this, on Red One?
I gave this a meh.
Okay. So I watched Red One actually before we decided we were going to watch it for the show. My wife and I both watched it, and that was at a time when everybody was coming out that they hated it. And I'm like, you know what? It's not bad. It's not terrible. As far as Christmas movies go, compared to some of these sappy, lovey-dovey, Hallmarky type Christmas shows that I am so used to watching, this is not bad. It's no Christmas Chronicle. It's not, Kurt Russell and Christmas Chronicles. It's more action-y than that. I agree. Krampus was probably one of the better characters, but I like Chris Evans in these non-Captain America roles as well. So, I enjoy him in this. I liked Lucy Liu's part in this. So I was probably watching it for more not The Rock than The Rock. So, maybe that taints me a little bit as far as this. Some of the stuff with The Rock was extremely hokey. I will definitely give you that. Oh, I'm going to give this one a smile. I do see this probably coming back up again at my house just because it will cut the Hallmark redundancy. So it's something different. But it'll be interesting to see what Red 2 does, because if it was even quasi successful, there'll be another one. So
It was not considered successful. That's why it showed up on Amazon way before we expected it to.
well,
Yes.
we'll see.
I agree.
We'll
I
see.
agree.
All right. So we need to pick another movie for the next show.
We've got 1 to 33.
Okay. About 12.
Okay. Oh, well, this ought to be interesting. This is on Netflix
Uh-huh.
called Heart of Stone, starring Gal Gadot,
Ah.
Jamie Dornan, and Ali Abad.
Spy action thriller film. An intelligence operative, the only woman who stands between her powerful global peacekeeping organization and the loss of its most valuable and dangerous asset. Okay. Well, that should be interesting. Okie doke. Well, that will be for our next one. Okay.
And we're resetting the rotation. Shaggy, you are on point for this one.
Okay. Good deal. Oops, wrong one. Wrong one. This one. Okay, folks, that'll do it for this evening. We will be back in 2 weeks. That'll put us back on the 27th. So, that should be plenty good, I think. And that'll be right before big trivia night for me. Central Illinois' biggest trivia for the Crime Stoppers. So, if you're interested, you can come out and join that, and I'll give you more information on the 27th. So, I think that's all that I've got. You guys got anything?
Nope.
I ain't got nothing.
Okay. Until then, we're just all going to try and stay healthy and get healthy. and maybe...
Yeah, get healthy, Shaggy.
And maybe find car keys.
Or shall we call you Scruffy?
Yes. Well, we'll see how this comes along. I'm going to give it till maybe the end of the month. See how it comes along. And then if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. But so we'll see how it goes. All right, folks.
Okay.
But otherwise, I'm Shaggy.
I'm Colin.
I am Mike the Ape Man.
Stick a fork in us, folks. We are done. Later.